It's a new year, a new season, and we are underway.
Really dominating fashion here today is going to win.
2, 3, 4 for the final time.
Win number 1 on the season, only just barely.
He is going to win here at the Atlanta Speedway.
Wins the Emerson Electric 100K.
Gonna be Igor Barretto's gonna eke it out.
Cup Series champion is Shane Lake in the number 15.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
The NOFSRL Cup Series is heading back east, and this time for one of the longest running races and one of the longest races of the season. We are here in the rolling hills of Georgia for the Truist 500 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is Season 10 of the NOFSRL Cup Series, presented by Chick-fil-A. Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 6 in season number 10 of the NOFSRL Cup Series. We are here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Truist 500, 65 laps of action around this mile-and-a-half racetrack in Hampton, Georgia, 1.454 mile racetrack, I should say. Be more specific, that's why it's only 65 laps instead of 67. But nonetheless, one of the longest races of the season, one of the craziest races of the season, one of my favorite races of the season. Used to be the penultimate, or the second race of the season, I should say, so the opposite of being penultimate. It used to be the second race of the season for the longest time. This is the latest we've ever run this race on the schedule, the 6th race of the season. But Matt, I don't think it's going to change how crazy this race is. So many guys could win this race no matter where they start. It's almost a cycle track. They race in a pack here. It's really the only mile and a half where they really truly do that here in the NOFSRL Cup Series. How are these guys going to get to the front? How are these guys going to win here today in this Truist 500?
Avoid big wrecks, such and such. Don't wreck your car. Don't blow your parts up. All that stuff. It'll, it's a track of survival. It's a track of being there at the end, and we'll see, obviously, across the, it's a very long race here today, so we'll see how it plays out, but should be interesting as always. Atlanta's definitely one of the better tracks from the schedule.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and you mentioned, mechanical failures, tire failures. We saw a lot of that in the Turkey Hill race yesterday, and that was only a 39-lap race. And we've seen it in many years past here at Atlanta in the NOFSRL Cup Series where these guys have had an issue and it's caused an accident. I mean, the 2 accidents we had yesterday were because of mechanical issues, so it's a good chance that it will be a race of attrition here today. But if we get a long green flag run to end this event, these guys will spread out, and that's when things can get very interesting. If you saw the race yesterday, it's not going to play out like that, though, either. It's going to be a lot of passing, a lot more passing in this race than we saw yesterday. The outside lane does not work near as well for these guys as they do in the GNS physics, so going to be a much different race than what we saw yesterday. I'll say that for the last time. Here's how they line up in the point standings coming into this, the 6th race of the season. Keegan Thompson, 173 points towards the championship. Still the points leader. Sebastian Kukulon, 11 points behind. LJ Samet, 13 points behind. Nelson Reeves, who dominated the early part of that Phoenix race last week, 14 points behind, and Ryan Durrani, 31 points behind, coming into today's event. Should be a fun one. Let's go ahead and give these guys a roll off here from the Truist 500 at Atlanta. Samet Ozkan in the number 71 for Titan Fury Motorsports, going to lead us to the green flag in that Advanced Auto Parts Dodge. Alongside him, rookie Mason Brown in the number 83. And then your guys there in row number 2. Marcos Lamotis funding this 54 this weekend for Nathan Baird, and Ayrton Senna with a tribute scheme on Thomas Troxel. Row number 3, Brett Sierra, and then the Truist machine of Eli Bright. And it's Sebastian Kukulon to the inside of Ethan Lewis, Nathan Stapleton to the inside of Daniel McMillan. That's the top 10 starting positions here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. As of now, looks like everybody's rolling off. Matt Dalio, our last winner here in the NOFSRL Cup Series, got that wild win at Phoenix, ahead of the guy who's starting to run in front of him there in the 25 machine. He's on the inside lane. Watch out for him to possibly go back-to-back here in the NOFSRL Cup Series. But Matt, you think it's going to be him, or do you think it's going to be somebody else in the field winning here today in the Truist 500?
Well, I'm contractually obligated that I cannot pick my own drivers to win races, so popping up deep in the field somewhere, the 68 or the 82, I can't remember his number, but Ryan Durrani in the Arby's machine almost won here in January in the Coke 400, and I think he's going to get redemption on that today.
This is a home race for that team, Full Frontal Motorsports. They're based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Could be a good run for those guys at that race team. Ryan Durrani, 6th in points coming into this, actually 5th in points coming into this race, and have a good shot at advancing even further here today. Ready to get this one started. Green flag in the air in the Truist 500 at Atlanta. Let's have some fun here around this 1.5-mile racetrack. Ozkan will lead lap 1, but I don't think he's going to lead the next one. Nathan Baird to the inside of Ozkan for the top position. Here comes Brett Sierra. This is where we're going to start seeing these guys try to work that outside lane. It doesn't work as well as it does in the Turkey Hill National Series cars, but it still works a little bit. That inside lane is where you want to be here today at Atlanta. Brett Sierra up the second. Here comes Stapleton for third on Ozkan. Alexander Rowe moving up fast in that number 25 machine. He was one of the dominant guys here last year, but of course lost out because he ran out of fuel into the end, and Shane Lake took the race victory in that one on fuel mileage. I don't think we're going to see that today. About a 42-lap fuel window for these guys here, as Stapleton powers right to the inside of air for the top position.
The one thing you have to be careful here, and obviously it was a little different circumstances, but the one big thing we did see here in January, we saw a 19-car big wreck, and when you have guys sending it off into the corners like this, you have to be really, really careful, because you make a mistake. If, say, Alonso makes a mistake here, it could be ugly for everybody, but got to be careful here. But Stapleton looking strong in the lead. That outside's not looking too bad at the moment, but the inside definitely has a ton of speed.
No doubt about it. Teammates up top, Alonso and Stapleton, and Alonso going to get to the inside of him right there. And now you got the 67 and Nathan Smith on the inside as well. These guys started outside the top 20, and already in 4 laps, they're inside the top 5. That's how wild this place is when everybody has fresh tires. However, when we get later in the run, these tires were out, it's going to start to spread out just a little bit, and these guys are going to have a little bit more difficulty making moves. Not too much difficulty, but just a little bit more difficulty. Outside pole sitter, Mason Brown up here now. Andrew Miller as well, and this is really going to be the first true, almost cycle race of the season for these guys, at least early in the run. Going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Ace Garcia to the inside as well. Fisher G's up here too. 39 machine. I hear Jalarv and Alonso trying to lead this lap. They're going to be 3 wide for the race lead. Teammates on the inside, Garcia and Brown, looking to take it away from Alonso.
Got the 2 tag teammates of the Dodgers there on the bottom. A whole mess of different manufacturers here at the front of the field early in this race, guys. Now you are starting to see up at the front, they're starting to separate each other a little bit of breathing room in between the cars, and we'll see how that plays out throughout the course of the run. Fisher G gonna try a National Series move, go to the high side, nothing doing for him there. We got guys they're starting to fan out just a little bit, dissipating the 3 wide just a touch.
We're going to have to see if they can keep it that way. Obviously that 4 wide, 3 wide stuff, that could lead to some accidents here, and it's not exactly what you want to do when you're in a big pack like this here at Atlanta, no doubt about it. Alexander Rowe, great run for him here in this one. Had a solid run. Could have won last weekend at Phoenix, but Matt Delio had other ideas. Nelson Reeves could have won last weekend, but some guys in the back of the field had some other ideas. Let's put it that way, and he ended up falling back to 8th. Still a great run for Nelson Reeves this entire season in his rookie campaign. I'm sure he'd love to get a race victory. He's actually led more laps than anybody else this season. I don't think you can really get too many laps led in this race and still win. I mean, obviously we've seen so many different leaders already in this race, but Nelson Reeves up front now, running third with Miller and Mason Brown holding on to the race lead in the 83.
I mean, if getting more laps led doesn't work out, he can always go and commit voter fraud, but that's for another time. A lot of Dodgers up here at the front of the field. Reeves, Rowe, Brown.
Someone may have had an issue.
I think someone has an issue.
Yeah, that might be Nathan Baird in the 54. And that Camping World money wasn't enough to get a good motor, apparently. Tough break for Nathan Baird, but this is something that we see here. We saw it yesterday. Tire issues, mechanical issues are very common at this place. Heck, second place runner yesterday, Mitchell Collins, had a tire go down, and they couldn't avoid him, unfortunately. At least this time they were able to get around that 54 machine, but he's obviously either dropped a cylinder or is about to have a tire go down in that 54 machine. That's the season 8 winner here at Atlanta. And in the wall, Ace Garcia, 81. That is the first time we've seen someone scrape the wall in this race. A little bit late for that, but might not be the last time we see that here today at Atlanta.
These guys got to be careful, because I don't know why, but Baird didn't come down pit road there, so unless they get that car refired and he can... Oh, Mason Brown in the wall there. unless Baird can get that car refired there, I guess the Eco Boost failed him or something. Unless he comes down pit road this time, they shouldn't have an issue. But
he's still staying out there. That's not a good idea. Let's put it that way. Nathan Smith, Nathan Stapleton to the inside of Nelson Reeves. And even though it cycles out quite a bit, you tend to see the same guys run up front once it all cycles through. How about NS Blackout here? Alonso, Stapleton, and Rutkowski all up front here inside the top 10. You got Alex in a row, Andrew Miller, Mason Brown, Nelson Reeves, Nathan Smith. These are going to be some of the stronger guys in this race, I do believe, because in testing, notice that a lot of these guys, even though they changed the lead a lot, it was relatively the same group of 5 or 6 guys who rotated in that race lead. And Alonso, Stapleton, a couple of those guys. How about NS Blackout? A 3-car team in their 1-2-3 as Nathan Baird, God bless him, he finally came down the pit lane right there before the pack ended up reaching him. So we remain green here at Atlanta as Rutkowski goes to the inside of his teammate Alonso for the top position.
This NS Blackout team looking really, really, really fast here at the start of this race. Now Alexander Rowe in that 25 is going to send it down to the inside with help from Fisher G. So they're going to break up that trio at the front. But we're going to, the interesting thing will be if caution comes out or depending on how pit strategy plays out, it'll be interesting to see if anybody from the back of the field can still manage to work their way up through the field and have a shot to come back and win this race. Obviously it's a long way to go, but at a track like this, you always have to be playing the long game here and putting yourself in the best position to win later in the race because that's when it's always won.
Yep, absolutely. That's how Shane Lake won last year. Saved the gas at the beginning of the run, made it to the end. He was the only one to make it to the end. Whereas these guys, they got caught behind Nathan Baird, Troxel, Kukul on there in the 13, Fitzwater and Brandon Nelson all back there. Someone else down the pit lane, and oh, brother, again. Hey, at least he didn't hit there is no attenuator to hit here at Atlanta, but once again, another issue on Alpha B's machine. This time, it's something that was not caused by him hitting a pit road wall. Been a tough season for Alpha B in his rookie campaign. How about Ryan Durrani, your pick to win this race at the inside of Fisher G? You got Andrew Miller working his way up here. How about Ben Young going for his 2nd win of the season? How about our points leader, Keegan Thompson, up here as well in the 82? Nice fresh scheme right there for the Trinity River Racing organization as we got 4 wide, almost. John Ayers in the middle there with Jesse Turner, Mason Brown, but they keep it together. But I was about to say, a nice new fresh scheme here for Trinity River Racing. Great job with Josh Williamson getting this new fresh livery on this 82
Jordan
as we got 3
Lopez.
wide for the race lead. Lopez, Young, and Miller for the top position.
That is, my goodness, Jordan Lopez is feeling dangerous here. All these guys up at the front definitely woke up feeling dangerous today. That's a stack up towards the high side. Gonna have to be careful there. I give these guys credit. We're through 17 laps of racing here at Atlanta. Nobody's wrecked. Nobody seems like they've come close to wrecking. I find that impressive. So we'll see if that continues. But this 82 of Thompson is storming his way through the field. And he's going to get the lead that time, I think.
He did. So Keegan Thompson, bonus point towards the championship. I think a lot of guys are going to get bonus points here today. Who's going to get that extra bonus point is going to be the big question. That's going to be a tough one to get. Stabling going to go ahead and take 2nd away from Lopez. Alex and Roseman up here pretty much this entire time. That 25 is fast. They finally have found their speed in that North State Racing 25 machine. Alexander comes into this race 23rd in points. I mean, he gained 10 positions in points at Phoenix last week, and if he can get another top 5 here, he's going to gain even more early on in the season. Stable into the point now, ahead of Keegan Thompson. Alexander, you got Nelson Reeves still up here, Brett Sierra as well, Jordan Lopez, Keegan Thompson way up the racetrack there in the 82. But now Stablen looking to pull away from the field, but that is pretty much impossible to do here at Atlanta because the pack, that draft is very significant. They don't slow down too much through the corners here. A very high bank track, and these guys go fast the entire way around here at Atlanta. Lap 19 of 65 in the Truist 500, like I said. Fuel window about 42 laps here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, so we're about halfway through the fuel run. Hopefully we can get through it without any issues, but who knows how it's all going to go down once we get to that point if we are still green. But we're closing in on the point where these guys can make it to the end, so we'll have to see if any of these guys end up coming down here soon to kind of avoid that mess. I don't think that's going to happen. Most of all these guys are going to be coming down at the same time. A lot of these guys are single file in the back of the field. We really only have the pack racing going on inside the top 20 right now, so Very interesting to see what's going on in the back of the field. Those guys have calmed it down, but these guys still racing like it's the last lap. And how about this? Going for 2 in a row, Matt Dalio to the inside of Stablein and Reeves. He's up to second now in that 75 machine.
And he gets right around Nelson Reeves there. He's going to try and get around Sierra as well. I think he's going to hold the line for now as Sierra slides up the hill. Not going to quite open a door yet there for a pass, but he's looking really good there in that 75. Sierra as well in that 12 machine for Buck Racing, looking really strong here. A lot of different guys up here who haven't won yet this season, who've kind of struggled, some of them. A lot of guys having those great runs here today that they need to start
Fitzwater just had an issue, and he's done. Just saw him teleport to the pit lane, and he was at the back of the field there, so that's another casualty that we've had. Fitzwater, the 54 of Nathan Baird, and the 6 of Christopher Appleby. Like we saw yesterday, there are going to be a lot of mechanical failures in this race. And the thing is, if we get a mechanical failure at the wrong time, like, say Nathan Stablein blows up here, that's going to be a mess. And that's why we had the 2 cautions that we had in yesterday's race. To the lead, Matt Dalio to the inside of Brett Sierra. And I move to the inside, take it away from the 12. Here comes Rutkowski, Ace Garcia, and Jesse Turner up here as well. The Outer Island guys have done a fantastic job this season, as currently right now all 3 of them would make the chase if the regular season ended today. Of course, right now McMillan has fallen off quite a bit. He's at the back of the field here, so not as good of a run for him. He may have hit the outside wall at some point. But Turner, 6 in points coming in. Of course, Matt Daly with his win last week in the wild card position. Those guys have been doing a great job. And, of course, they have that technical alliance with Trinity River Racing. Keegan Thompson has done a great job, and their unshitted guy has won this season. So those Toyotas have shown a lot of strength so far this season. But we'll have to see, will a Chevy or a Dodge go to victory lane for the first time this season? It's only been Ford and Toyota so far. Rutkowski would love to change that in the 47 machine.
He's going to love to change it, and we'll see Ace Garcia in the 81. But, you know, obviously, like you were saying, these guys definitely have to be careful. You know, you got to be careful, too, just around racing each other. If somebody makes a mistake in the front of this field, it is going to be absolute mayhem here. These guys try to get around it, but Garcia to the lead, seeing Dodge start to flex their muscle again.
4 wide. Ben Young, Ryan Durrani, Jesse Turner here, Jalarv and Alonso's not backing down, and Durrani and they clip by him. This is going to be a huge wreck into the corner. Durrani, Ben Young, Jesse Turner, Nelson Reeves caught up as well. Back of the field, they're going to slide down, and more guys caught up. Samadeo, McMillan, Kukalon, Baird, and Troxel. What goes up must come down, and a lot of guys. Patrick Smith upside down in the 16. A huge accident here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Ace Garcia wins the race back to the line. Alonso is not going to have a lot of fans after this one, at least in the garage area. Jesse Turner destroyed in the 77. A lot of these guys, Ryan Durrani, Kukalon, Brett Sear with damage in the 12. He was running up front as well. What a shame. What a darn shame. Turner slid up the racetrack, opened the door for Alonso. That hurts for those guys. These guys should be able to make it to the end of the race here after this stop. Like I said, about a 42-lap fuel window. I did a test race at 39 laps for these guys in the Cup cars. They were able to go the entire race on the 1 tank of fuel, so hopefully we should be good to the end here. Ace Garcia going to lead him down the pit lane, and this is going to change the entire complexion of this race here in this Truist 500.
Yeah, as we were saying, don't make a mistake, and then Alonso, I guess, decided he wanted to have his Dustin Davis moment, but that was a lot of cars wrecked. Could have been bigger. It definitely could have been bigger, but no, there were a lot of cars wrecked. Obviously, we'll take a look at the replays and see what happened to them all, but tough break. Shame for some of those guys, too. A lot of those guys were having just fantastic runs here today.
I think Ace Garcia is going to win the race off, but his teammate, his unchartered teammate, dare I say, Will Parrish, going to be second off the pit lane. We're going to go through this again? I mean, Dennis Stryker finished third last week in the Cup race in the uncharted ride. I know these guys have just been insane this year. John Anders is actually still up there, too. I think he's inside the top 10.
Oh, good
They started deep in the field, but they worked their way up, and you know, it's going to be harder for them to win this one. It's not like Las Vegas where you can pull out to a lead and keep it. it's going to be hard for these guys to stay up front. And these full-time guys, like I said, they don't want these uncharted guys continuing to win here in this series. Joe Rakowski third, Matt Dalio. I think it looks like John Neer is actually going to be fifth off the pit lane. Then Nathan Smith, Cody Sill. Most wanted driver on the racetrack, Herja Larvin Alonso. Alexander Rowe and Brock Nelson, the top 10. A lot of guys going to get knocked out. And as a matter of fact, McMillan here was caught up in that accident, came down the pit lane and caught the tail end of the field. So that is going to really be interesting on the restart because this 79 is not going to be up to speed like everybody else. A lot of guys caught up in this accident. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first yellow of the day here in the Truist 500 at Atlanta. Ace Garcia, your race leader. Let's see what he does on the restart here in the Truist 500 after we review the accident here from Atlanta. One note popped up on my screen for some stupid reason, and that's why it paused there. So my apologies for that little blip right there. Let's see what happened to bring out the first caution here at Atlanta. You're going to see right here, Turner, like we mentioned, got loose up in the corner. Ben Young, Ryan Durrani in the middle there, and Alonso goes for it. And this is, I mean, Durrani goes up and the Ben Young shoots down, and Alonso's there. But you can tell just how much lower Alonso was compared to everybody else, and Ryan Durrani there in number 68. There's just nothing he can do. Right in the Ben Young, Jesse Turner. Stapleton, I think, avoids this one. Brett Sierra does not. And those were some guys who were up front in this race who are not going to be up front anymore. Nelson Reeves had a great race last week at Phoenix. Not a good race for him this weekend. He's in the outside wall. But then, in the back of the field, this is where it gets worse because you have all these guys at the tail end who got caught behind because of Nathan Barrett's problems, because of Alphabee's problems. Patrick Smith, Nicholas Samadeo, Daniel McMillan. Right there, Smith gets sent upside down. Kukulon, Ozkan, they get shot up as Samadeo comes up. Absolute mess here. And then Nathan Baird going to get some damage. He was already multiple laps down in that 54 machine. And then Thomas Troxel going to get into his teammate there. Not a good day for you guys. Started up front, and I know you said at the top of the show that probably means they're going to finish 31st, 32nd. Well, unfortunately, that's probably what it's going to be, unfortunately. Name of the game sometimes. Tough break for all those guys. Let's go ahead and give you the real-time replay of this one.
You watch Alonso and Durrani on the bottom. I don't know, man. That's a lot of big hits there and a lot of torn up race cars. Reeves in there, and then this just gets absolute insanity. Patrick Smith upside down. Kukulon with a massive shot into that outside retaining wall. Just nowhere really to go for a lot of those guys. I will say I'm surprised that we didn't see more cars wrecked there because we've seen bigger wrecks there happen off of those situations. But tough way to end the day for a lot of those guys there. Just nowhere to go, really. When those wrecks happen, you just got to send it and hope you avoid it.
Yeah, and a lot of guys sent it but didn't avoid it. Let's go on board somebody here. That was a big enough wreck to warrant one. Let's see how it all looked from the onboard of somebody caught up in that accident. On board number 68 of Ryan Durrani, and he was involved in every aspect of this accident, beginning right here. Into the fence, hard and around. And you're going to see these guys come in the frame right here. Smith, Samadeo, boom! A wild shot right there for the 68 machine. Tough break for the home team of Full Frontal Motorsports and their driver Ryan Durrani, but not much Durrani could have done in that situation. Alonso took the hole and he was there. Ace Garcia, your race leader. Let's see what he does on the restart for Hamel Racing Enterprises here. We should be good on fuel to the end of the race. Let's see what they all do. We're close to halfway in this Truist 500 from Atlanta. We are back here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're in turn one right now, a little bit earlier than normal because we have a lot of guys who got caught up in that accident after Alonso got into Ronnie and just cleared the field. We had that big pack, and we mentioned it at the top of the show. We essentially pack race here at Atlanta, and if one guy makes a mistake, it's a disaster. And obviously we saw Brett Sierra out of the race in the 12. He's the first guy out. Thomas Troxel shown 2 laps down. I don't think he's on the racetrack anymore. And then it goes Nelson Reeves, who's had a great season so far. Kukulon has had a great season so far. They're both out of the race. Jesse Turner was having a great run. He's had a great season, too. Durrani's had a great season. Ben Young's had a great season. A lot of these guys are up there in the points. They got caught up in the accident. Patrick Smith went upside down like we saw. Nicholas Samadeo caught up. Nathan Baird was he had his own fair share of issues earlier on. He is still out there in the 54. And then Fitzwater and Christopher Altheby had their separate issues before that accident happened. They're both out of the race, too. That leaves us 29 guys on the lead lap, 1 on the tail end. That's Daniel McMillan, so 28 officially on the lead lap. Ace Garcia, Will Parrish, Joe Rutkowski, Matt Dalio, John Enders, both of the uncharted guys inside the top 5. They're going to have to get around McMillan here on the restart. This is going to be interesting. Garcia going to do a good job, but everybody else going to get held up here.
I don't think McMillan's the only slow car up at the front because that second grouping of the pack didn't go. Maybe they just.
It was Ozkan. Ozkan a lap down in the 71 there. He was kind of midway through, but everyone's gotten around him. Now they got to get around McMillan. Oh, man, and his teammate getting stuck behind him, Matt Dalio. That's going to be an interesting team meeting in a couple of days. Hopefully they can figure this whole thing out, but once they can clear him, it should be a little bit easier once this pack kind of files out. But hey, you know who else is getting held up? It's Alonso in the 39 machine. I don't think these guys are too upset about that. So mess back there, I think they are going to figure it out, but Dalio not going to be happy as Ace Garcia has cleared the race lead, and now things are going to get interesting. Look at this gap here between these top few guys. Garcia, Rutkowski, Nathan Smith, top 3, Will Parrish, John Andrews. I mentioned both of these guys, you know, watch out for him, especially John Andrews. He won at Las Vegas, but Will Parrish, this is his first career Cup Series start, and look at what he's doing. He's taking a little bit of a high line right there. Andrews going to get around him. Fisher G. Owen Miles up here. Great run for Owen Miles. Haven't seen too much of him this season. He's got a good run. Mason Brown still up here as well. Same with Miller and Alexander Rowe. I mean, all these guys still have a good shot at winning this race who are up front and have a good race car. They got to catch up to Ace Garcia, though, but Rutkowski going to get a good run off the corner. He used the hill to his advantage. He's got to run to the inside for the race lead.
He is looking very, very strong in that 47. Obviously, won the Truck Series championship. You know, had to really work a bunch of mile-and-a-halves to get that done, so he's feeling real good in that 47. Just, you know, you don't have to make, you know, as much as he'll hawk the back of that 81, you don't have to make the move right. I say he thinks otherwise. He's going to go for that lead here. He's going to clear the 81. That's going to open the door for Nathan Smith in this 67 here to get a shot here, as well as he's going to try and go for the second here and maybe get a shot on Rutkowski in a lap or so. Yeah,
I will say, I've been noticing these guys, they kind of shoot up in between turns 3 and 4, and they use that banking off of turn 4 to carry the momentum down the front stretch. And Nathan Smith is going to use that to his advantage. Nathan Smith going to take the race lead here in Atlanta as he gets around Joe Rutkowski. Past halfway already in this Truist 500. Andrew Miller now up to third. It's Ace Garcia, Keegan Thompson, Cameron Garlington up here. It's always a good day when you see Cameron up front. Miller for second on Rutkowski. Couple of Pennsylvania. Actually, a top 3 are all from Pennsylvania. How about that? Andrew Miller going to go to the inside of Nathan Smith for the race lead here as Garlington to the inside of Thompson and Garcia. He's not going to make it easy on those guys. Will Parrish back on the inside, but Andrew's falling back a little bit. I mean, all these guys still have an opportunity. Even that 18 machine there, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure that...
I think he's on the lead lap.
I think he is. Where is he? He is currently 14th. Yeah, Nelson actually was one of those guys who got caught behind when Nathan Baird had his issue at the top of the show. He's now in this lead pack, and essentially everyone in this lead pack still has an opportunity at winning this race from Nathan Stapleton on up, because this draft, they can find the way to the inside and work their way to the front, and Rutkowski and Smith came close as Cameron Garlington leads the field here in Atlanta. There's just no telling who's going to win this race at this point. But I will say, the past 2 years, the winner of this race has gone on to win the NOFSRL Cup Series championship. So just keep that in mind. A lot is at stake here today at Atlanta, if that remains true later on in the year. Thompson up to second. Miller going to get back to the inside of him for that second position. He's also going to go to the inside of Garlington for the race lead. He's going to make it look easy and lead lap 38.
He is flying in that 24 machine to the bottom. That's going to also allow Fisher G to have a shot to close in with the 40 car. Gatlin Downey down there. A lot of guys, I probably just botched that, but a lot of guys really start to close in. You got Nelson, who hasn't had a great seat. Not a great seat. What is Nathan Baird still doing on the racetrack?
I don't know. He's got some damage from that accident. This is going to get a little interesting right here. Andrew Miller shouldn't have any issue getting around him, but Garlington might get held up here. Thompson as well. This is going to play out a lot like the Daytona 500 now, isn't it? Oh, Garlington.
Oh, boy.
He couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything. He's going to try the outside on Baird. And he will get the outside on Baird. Thompson going to get held up right there. Rakowski going to get around, but all these guys now jammed up. Hey, don't look now. Here comes Shane Lake, the winner of this race last year. He's moving inside the top 10 right here. Hey, Nathan Baird, it's James.
I was trying not to jinx that. We'll revisit this in 25 laps and see how it's going.
Well, hey, it actually benefited Shane Lake. He ended up gaining a lot of ground because of that right there, which is what I meant right by saying that.
Oh boy, here they go for 4 wide. No, 3 wide.
They keep it 3 wide in the back of the field. Race leader, Andrew Miller. Second place, uncharted driver, Will Parrish. I don't know, man. I will say, that is the Hamill car, so the Hamill car can do good. I mean, he's the owner's king. He's won more races than anybody else as an owner on this channel, so... Samet Ozkan, this is going to get a little interesting right here when we run into Ozkan. It's going to be a lot like when we ran into Baird, but Baird is clearly the slowest guy on the track at this point, so we'll have to see how that all goes down. Zidell teammates, Andrew Miller, Fisher G1-2, Gatlin Downey in third. Ace Garcia going to get around his teammate Will Parrish right there. Downey going to try here on Miller. Miller holds on to the race lead for now. And somebody went around. Caution back out, so that is going to save these guys from having to run into Samet Ozkan. Who was it? It looked like it might have been Brandon Nelson in the 18.
Brandon Nelson was running up front too, which is interesting because we didn't.
I'm wondering if this has to do with Nathan Baird in the 54. Very good chance it has to do with Nathan Baird in the 54. Now this is where it really gets interesting because you come down here and take tires, you're gonna be flying through the field. We saw what Priya McShane did yesterday in the Turkey Hill race. She took 4 tires. She blasted that field after that. And this is a track where tire wear is very significant. We had about 15 laps there, I should say. Doesn't look like anyone's going to come down up front. I'm wondering if anyone in the back's going to try to come down, play a little strategy, but they don't have to come back down for fuel. They're not going to try it. So Andrew Miller leads the field here. This accident occurred down the front stretch here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, now lap 44 of 65. Gatlin Downey, Fisher G, Ace Garcia, Will Parrish, Cameron Garlington, Joe Rakowski, Kean Thompson, Shane Lake, Jordan Lopez. Top 10. Since nobody coming down the pit lane, we'll go ahead and see what happened to bring up the second caution of the day here in the Truist 500 at Atlanta in season number 10 of the NOFSRL Cup Series. And all these guys trying to get around Nathan Baird in the 54. And in the back of the field, Baird comes up and tries to block Brandon Nelson, who has a huge run. And, Brett Moffitt said it the other day, if you're not going to win, wreck. Get the camping world on the screen. That's how you do it. So you're making Marco Simonis happy there. The Camping World car wreck gets some more time on that car. Am I wrong?
Not how we intended it. Not how we had intended.
Tough break there, though, for Brandon Nelson, who had a strong race car, was running inside the top 15 and got caught behind and ended up getting wrecked there, and that damage is going to hurt him. He's not going to be able to run with the rest of the pack there after that one. Tough break for those guys involved, especially Brandon Nelson.
Yeah, he just watched this 54 Baird. It almost looks like he has a tire go down or something. I mean, obviously he's slow. And just came up the track there. Looked a little unnatural, though. But Brandon Nelson gave him the yeet. And that was all it wrote from Baird in the 54. Tough day for Nelson, too, because he was running good early. But it's going to be interesting on this restart to see what this 24 machine can do.
Yeah, Andrew Miller looks pretty strong here in this 24 machine for Zidell Motorsports. He's going to have 19 laps to go. Like I said, fuel should not be an issue, so it's going to be an all-out brawl to the end here in the Truist 500 from Atlanta. Let's see who gets it done here in the 6th race of the season in the NOFSRL Cup Series, season number 10. We are back here at Atlanta under our second caution after the incident between Brandon Nelson and whoever else it was. Like I said, we do the replays at the end when we're done recording the race because game likes to crash on me sometimes. 19 laps to go here in this Truist 500 at Atlanta. Andrew Miller, your race leader. Gatlin Downey, Fisher G, Ace Garcia, Will Parrish, the top 5. If you guys saw the losing streak spreadsheet that I shared with you guys, I actually made a mistake. I completely missed an entire season for this guy, Cameron Garlington. This is 91 races going for Garlington, the second longest losing streak in the series. Now, because I said that, he probably won't win. But an opportunity for him here in that 34 machine. Joe Rutkowski, Keegan Thompson, Shane Lake, who won this race last year, and Jordan Lopez, the top 10. Take a look at the rest of the field right there. Not many guys left on the racetrack after all that we've had today. McMillan a lap down, Samet Ozkan a lap down. 30 guys on the racetrack, 28 on the lead lap, including Brandon Nelson, who was caught up in an accident. But thankfully, this time, those guys who were involved in those accidents earlier on are starting at the back of the field. They will not affect the leaders, at least early on in this run. 19 laps to go on the Truist 500 in Atlanta. Andrew Miller, Gatlin Downey, Fisher G, the top three.
Now, this is where things will start to get interesting, because obviously, as we saw in January, once the field starts to shrink out, you have a little less time on these restarts. You got to be a little more careful with your pickings, I guess you could say, so you don't. You want to pick your moves wisely, and you don't want to do something that's going to end up getting you in a wreck. But Fisher G wants that lead. Gatlin Downey wants the outside. But Andrew Miller holds it for now in that 24 machine.
And he's doing a good job, but that's his teammate behind him. He may be cutting him a little bit of slack right here. Miller going to hold on barely down the backstretch. Here comes Cameron Garlington with help from Will Parrish for second on Fisher G. American Motorsports hasn't had too much success in this series as of late. Oh boy, Fisher G going to get a run up top. And they're 3 wide for the race lead here, and Fisher G going to try to work it on the outside lane. Garlington to the inside. Who's going to get the advantage through the corner? Miller trying to work the middle lane, but Garlington going to take it away on the 34.
And let's see if he can close up and clear. He's going to have them all cleared. That was a big move out of that 24 machine, or that 34 machine, to climb that hill there and go from the bottom up to the top, clear all those guys. Now he's going to have to fight back as the 24 comes back to the inside, and he's got to watch out now for the 40 and the 47 who are closing in with him too. This is getting incredibly intense here as this race rolls on with the laps winding down here.
No doubt about it, and not only that, look at who's coming. Shane Lake in the number 15. Best opportunity all season. He had a great run in the Dan Weldon tribute scheme at Las Vegas. But that was his best run of the season. And outside of that, it's not been a good season for him. But how about Gatlin Downey, number 40 machine? This number 41 with Nathan Baird behind the wheel in Season 8. Will he go back to victory lane at Atlanta? Joe Rutkowski looking for his first career Cup Series win. And the defending champion, Shane Lake. We mentioned past 2 years, the winner of this race has gone on to win the championship. I think Shane Lake knows that. He wants to defend the crown, as it says on the rear of his car. He's to the inside of Rutkowski for the race lead on lap 51. 14 laps to go here in the Truist 500 at Atlanta.
It's a little early to be taking the lead. We'll see. Obviously, we see Garlington got cycled out a little bit there, but he's still close, so we'll just see how this race unfolds. Got a lot of fast guys, though, emerging late. A lot of Dodges re-emerging to the front. We got Logan Williams. I don't think we've talked about Logan Williams all day in that 38, but out of nowhere, here he comes. So
good run for him.
Oh, here he goes to the bottom.
As a matter of fact, all of American Motorsports, all 3 of their guys currently in this pack. So good day for Trey Wright's team there. Lopez is there, Garlington's there, Logan Williams as well. How about Mason Brown, Ace Garcia, Will Parrish? You got 3 Hamill guys in this lead pack. Still a mess, and it's going to be even more of a mess when we catch up to Samet Ozkan. Of course, that caution with a bit of a saving grace for us at last time. Problem on Mason Brown. Oh, man, what a shame. I was just mentioning how good of a run he was having. He had essentially been up front this entire race, started on the outside pole. He's not going to finish here today at Atlanta. Almost to the end of the race, 12 laps to go, and he cannot finish as a blown motor on that machine. Downey took the race lead away. Now Shane Lake going to go back to the inside. Fisher G with help from Logan Williams, and Nathan Smith all of a sudden back up here as well. And that split the pack up a little bit, and these guys may just be too far behind to have anything go for him here. LJ Samet to the inside of Will Parrish. Garlington got caught back in that second pack. They may need a caution in order to have another shot. Logan Williams, though, to the inside of Shane Lake. It is still anybody's race here at Atlanta. You just cannot tell you who's going to win this thing here with 11 laps to go.
The interesting thing, though, about the 83 blowing a motor there is it kind of has given these guys at the front a little bit of breathing room from the rest of the pack for the moment. Because at 83, where he blew up, it did kind of slow some of those guys down a little bit, hence why the pack is massively split up now. But we will see how this plays out. I expect they're going to tighten back up, and we'll see if some of these guys who got cycled out, like 34 or Andrew Miller's up front. My bad. We'll see if some of these guys...
Will Parrish is another guy who got cycled there. He's coming back through the field again. Brock Nelson's up here. Tristan Allen in this lead pack. It's always a good day when you don't get caught up in a wreck at a place like this. How about Miller? All of a sudden, back to the inside there, and he's going to go to the inside of Logan Williams for the top position. I mean, realistically, any of these guys still have an opportunity if you're inside the top 20. But I think these guys up front may have a bit of a stranglehold on the field at this point. Miller has been one of the stronger guys in this race. He's going to go back to the inside of Logan Williams, take the race away. Fisher has also been strong as well in the number 7 machine. Garcia's been up front a lot in this race. We'll have to see which one of these guys can pull it off here at Atlanta. Coming to, if I can do the math correctly, I think 8 laps to go this time by here at Atlanta. For Andrew Miller in the Truist 500. We have yet to hit the point of no return in this race, so if we get a caution now, we would still have a restart. But 5 laps to go, that will not be the case. Miller trying to hold on his teammate, though, to the inside for the race lead down the backstretch.
Fisher G really getting a great run there underneath his teammate there for both of these cars. For Justin Zeidel, as Ace Garcia wants to stick his nose in this and get his name back in this fight. You still, like you were saying, any of these guys up here, and given that second pack is starting to re-emerge, you never know who this race could be for. But as you were also saying, the point of no return is closing and the laps are winding down. Uh-oh.
Yeah, watch out for Samet Ozkan. These guys are spread out a little bit more than they were earlier on when we ran in lap traffic, but Samet Ozkan has got to be careful here. He may make some enemies here in a moment. They may split him. Oh, no, Ace Garcia. Miller going to get held up there. That outside lane, nowhere to go. Miller trying to find a way around the 71 machine, but Ozkan is not making it easy for him, and Miller is not going to be happy with Ozkan at the end of this one. He will find a way to the inside, so he hasn't lost this race yet. But Fisher G, Logan Williams, Gatlin Downey, those guys may have. I think they're going to lose a little bit too much time here. Race leader, Ace Garcia, and another guy who's had a very long losing streak. It's been since Season 7 at Kentucky since Garcia's gone the victory lane. Will today finally be the day? Will Hamill Racing Enterprises finally go back to victory lane in 2021? They've yet to win a race this season with any of their guys. Will they get their, 17th career Cup win as a team? But it would be the first for Ace Garcia, who's been with this team since Season 8. But Rutkowski, Shane Lake, Andrew Miller, Nathan Smith, they're going to be coming fast. It's not over yet. It's 4 laps to go in the Truist 500.
Now, if Ace Garcia wants this win, he's going to have to run through the gauntlet of 3 veterans, a champion, and the rookie, Nathan Smith, if he wants to win. We're going to find out, though, what that 81 machine has got underneath the hood here as they come down the back straightaway. They'll get 3 to go at the stripe, and you got to be sitting there if you're Ace Garcia. Flashbacks to January. Ryan Durrani thought he had this in the bag, too, and then Josh Williamson came up and snatched it out of his hands. Can somebody do that to Ace Garcia? We're going to find out, and we have another lap car to close in on.
Yeah, Daniel McMillan may get in the way here. McMillan and Garcia have similar losing streaks. Shane Lake went way up the racetrack there. Miller is coming back through the field to the inside of Shane Lake for second. That 24 may be the fastest car on the track right here. Gonna be 2 laps to go next time by for Ace Garcia. Miller got held up by Samet Ozkan, and he rebounded back to second. He's got an opportunity if this race win. Ace Garcia, though, has done a great job at the end of this race holding these guys up, but will he be able to hold off these guys for 2 more laps? That's the big question. 2 to go in Atlanta for Ace Garcia. Miller going wide. They're trying to get that run off the corner. Miller almost in the outside wall, and now Lake back to the inside for second. If they keep on battling for second, Garcia's going to pull away with this thing.
Well, Garcia's going to have to be careful. He's going to run into that lap down car, and he might catch him this lap, but he's also going to have to beat Shane Lake as they come onto the front.
Oh my, look at that run for Shane Lake. White flag in the air here in the Truist 500 in Atlanta, and Shane Lake to the inside of Ace Garcia for the top position. That's exactly what Miller wants to see. But Lake could not hold the inside on Garcia.
Oh,
and the outside lane going to the 81. I think the tire wear has just gotten too much for that inside lane to work, and Garcia will get around McMillan as well. It's been since Season 7, since 2018, but Ace Garcia is going to finally go back to victory lane in the NOFSRL Cup Series. Ace Garcia wins the Truist 500 at Atlanta. Well-earned victory there for Garcia, his first with the Hamill Racing Enterprises team, and he holds off the defending champion of Shane Lake to get it done here in the Truist 500. How about that?
Yeah, just needed that lap car to moved down a little bit. That would have helped there, but good run for the 81 team there, without a doubt. Good run for a lot of these guys too. Garlington rebounded 5th at the line. You got all those guys who kind of slid out. Gatlin Downey rebounded pretty well. Tristan Allen came home in the top 10 after we hardly talked about him until about 5 laps to go, but he came back up there. And so a lot of guys rebounded here.
No doubt about it. I mean, you look at Tristan Allen. A lot of the guys, who were up there in points, maybe not Keegan Thompson. Keegan finished 11th in this race. So the points leader is still going to be the points leader, but Allen's going to move up in the points because Kukalon, Reeves, Durrani Turner, all those guys ahead of him in points got caught up in that first wreck. The other guy up there, LJ Sameto, finished 17th. So Sameto, Thompson, and Allen, I think, are going to end up being the top 3 guys in points heading in the Rockingham next weekend. But Ace Garcia, that's one of the longer losing streaks that has just been broken right there. See here. It was 67. I think that would be, and I add 4 to that? I think I add 4 to that. So that was a 71 race losing streak for Ace Garcia that he just broke right here at Atlanta, ahead of Shane Lake, Andrew Miller, and Nathan Smith. Outside of what happened with that, of all of that, that was a solid race, and that was a lot of fun to watch. Like I said, we always look forward to Atlanta every single year. But obviously, some guys did not look forward to this race. Mason Brown, Nathan Bear, Brett Sear, Thomas Troxel, Nelson Reeves, Kukalon, Turner Young, Durrani Smith, Sam Adio, Fitzwater, Alphaby, all with issues in this race. Most of them getting caught up in accident, but a lot of mechanical failures as well. Brandon Nelson, Daniel McMillan, Samet Ozkan, they had their issues. 26 guys finished on the lead lap. Final thoughts on this race here, man. What a race here at Atlanta. Ace Garcia, though, holding these guys off at the end and grabbing his first win since season number 7 of this series. Great job out of Ace Garcia for Hamill Racing Enterprises.
No, it's definitely definitely had to earn it here today, without a doubt. Was not a give it to me race. It was a go up and earn it, and somebody had to do it, and they did. But overall, it's definitely an exciting race. Atlanta's really 3 for 3 so far this year in exciting races, and
we'll be back here
in July.
Yeah, we'll be back here in July. Chick-fil-A 452 lap race here. Hopefully under the lights. Gonna have a lot of fun with that race in July, no doubt about it. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend. And congratulations to Ace Garcia on his first win in almost 3 years here in the NOFSRL Cup Series. I'm sure he's going to be pretty happy about that one, no doubt about it. Here are the points for the NOFSRL Cup Series after 6 races. Next week, we head to the Rock, the Cheerwine 400. There for 79 laps around that 1.017 mile racetrack in Rockingham, North Carolina. Turkey Hill Series also going to be racing there next weekend as well. The Food Lion 200 should be a fun weekend there. And then the weekend after that is Easter weekend. The Cup Series takes off, and the Turkey Hill Series goes to Armory Digital 2 weeks from now for their standalone event there. Of course, we'll be with you guys, Body Armor Cup Series, so it's not fully standalone, but you know what I mean. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Ace Garcia. On behalf of Matt Tuck, we'll see you guys next week from The Rock, Rockingham, North Carolina, Cheerwine 400, next Saturday at noon right here on AG Racing. I will see you guys later.